Hello, everyone. Welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take another look at Bitcoin, see what's going on. If you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, just love teaching people how to trade, and I do hope that you can learn something here today. I have a trading community / academy where I teach you how to become a better trader, and we all learn and grow together. I even send out signals for every single trade that I take. And just to be completely clear and transparent, I have a short position open right now for Bitcoin. In fact, I opened that last night, and I guess you could potentially say we're down a couple, but it hasn't closed yet, haven't come close to our stop loss. And the beautiful thing about it is that with this double doji pattern forming, I do feel like there's a good, strong potential. And the main reason why I opened that, just so you know, as a community, is the state of indecision we had from yesterday. That doji candle essentially tells us we could see a reversal. And of course, there is some lower highs and lower lows, of course, getting printed as well. But for right now, the one-day chart isn't looking great here today. If we get a second doji candle to close, then we could see very well a potential shift in momentum and that the price come down. Again, I'm not trying to concern you or let you know the sky is falling. It's a natural thing for the price to come back down. As I mentioned yesterday, we had a correction. It's okay. But if we have kind of a state of indecision here again today, that's not a great sign going into a major resistance. It's having a lot of trouble passing 44,000. Yes, we've got 2 or 3 candle wick ups, but that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the one-day candlestick close, if we go ahead and get another doji here, there's a good chance we might see a shift in momentum to the downside. Just keep that in mind. Again, not a bad thing. It's perfectly fine. These corrections are normal, and we need to see it happen, in fact. That way the next leg up can happen stronger, okay? So just keep that in mind. So that's kind of where we're at on the macro there. We are still bullish overall, generally speaking, with the actual, the sentiment, so to speak, with 50 and 70 on the RSI, the price being right in between those two. That's a great sign, okay? So again, sky is not falling. We're perfectly fine. Even if the price comes down to 43,000, 42.5, 41.5, we'll still be okay. All right. Well, obviously, we'll reevaluate as we typically do. But for right now, one last thing before we move on, we are at a 6. So currently at a 6 on the TD sequential. So hypothetically, say the price were to continue to progress upwards, which is all well and good. We'd have only about 2 more days worth of continuation before we see the price turn around. And two more days puts us at Friday. Fridays are typically red days going into the weekend. At least followed by a strong, 6 or 7 days of bullish momentum, right? So keep in mind, we could see a correction come this weekend if we don't see it today or tomorrow. Plus, there's news tomorrow as well that could cause the price to kind of reverse, okay? So again, I would say, generally speaking, on the shorter term, I would say potentially bearish, but not fully, right? I still think Bitcoin can make a recovery. We do still got to get over 46, 48,000 for me to feel comfortable and confident that Bitcoin's out of the doghouse. But the truth be told, I think this little run, I think February is still going to be a green month. Okay, I think we're still in good shape. So again, do not take away from this conversation that I'm expecting the bottom to drop out of Bitcoin. This is a normal correction. We'd like to see it. But the one thing we got to acknowledge here, and let's acknowledge the elephant in the room, is this. I don't really like this. We've got the hammer that we're seeing right now is inverted hammer sort, essentially, basically just implying that the bulls have lost control in this 4-hour time frame. Okay, so it went from a strong push to a strong push up to a strong push down. So that's not a great sign either, especially going into a major resistance at 44,000. So just note that yes, it had a nice strong push on the market open, but it's losing that momentum. We could see a turnaround in that sense as well, at least on the midterm. Okay, again, that's not the only reason, but that does help us understand that there's a little bit of a loss in that volume, and the price could turn around in that sense. But bottom line is we're still up over 50 and under 70 on the RSI, right around 60 is great. We do have a bearish type of divergence here that hasn't fully formed, I guess you could say. In other words, it looks like it's plateauing. So we could very well see this be the lowest point for the price right now. That could happen. And if so, I would celebrate that. But for the most part, honestly, we're still a little premature to understand. So right now the midterm is kind of giving us a couple of different signs. It tells us it wants to shift to the downside, so to speak, on the immediate 4-hour candlestick. But the overall candlesticks tell us that it's trying to push its way up and working its way up a little bit, right? So again, we can't avoid the fact that the price is kind of progressing upwards overall. But in most cases, when you see an inverted type of hammer like this, you can tell that the price will likely shift and turn around, right? So I don't know if you can see this here, but we got an inverted hammer followed by a bearish harami. So a lot of times when you see that, there's just not a lot of strong confidence, and we could very well see a reversal to the downside. Will it be huge? Probably not, but it could just be kind of a slow bleed down. And if we start printing lower highs and lower lows in the 4-hour, then we might want to have some cause for concern. But we're not there yet, and I don't want you to be overly worried. Okay. I would say at best we're looking at 43,000 as a potential decrease here in the immediate future, and that would put us at a lower high, but on the same accord, it would also be a lower low, and it wouldn't be necessarily lower than this previous price point here, right? So if we can stay above 43,000, I think we'll be in good shape. If we cross the plane of 43,000, then we could expect to start seeing lower highs and lower lows, and possibly even see the price point of 42.5 or 41.5 get tested. Okay, until we get there, let's not worry about it. We're perfectly fine. Looking at the 1-hour here, though, of course, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the HTML cloud. It is kind of messy. The price is kind of traveling within the cloud, and traditionally speaking, you probably don't want to try to take entry at this point. So just keep that in mind. That is kind of just something to understand right now. It's not giving us an indication of wanting to buy or sell. We're kind of right in that state of indecision, that transition. Okay, conversion line's above the baseline, but lagging span is, I guess, intersecting with the price action is kind of up and down. And of course, key takeaway here is that we got this cloud essentially rejecting the price action. So it could very well keep coming down based on that sentiment. But again, once more, too early to tell. So again, the key takeaway here is that you probably want to sit on the sidelines and wait for Bitcoin to figure itself out before you decide to make an investment, right? Because TD sequential, we got a bunch of resets. There's nothing really to note here, and I forgot to look at that on the 4-hour. We do also have some resets as well. So ultimately, not a lot to disseminate there. We don't have any states of exhaustion per se. We're mostly just consolidating at the resistance. Now, oftentimes when you consolidate a resistance, it will break to the upside in most cases, but keep this in mind as well, just some contrary information. We do have a double doji candle forming here, right? And that concerns me that, again, we've had this price point before, try to get broken, it hasn't yet, right? Now, even though it's candle wicked up, it's still closing essentially at or below 44,000. So the more likely, the more often we do this, yes, the more likely to the upside, but these candlesticks that are forming here, this complete state of indecision, 2 days in a row of indecision, oftentimes signals a reversal. So just be aware of that, all right? So that's kind of where we're at here for Bitcoin. I would say it's neither good nor bad. It's kind of fair to middling, right in the middle. The midterms kind of telling us we have a potential shift in momentum, but at this point, we're looking overall pretty good. So I hope you found benefit here, of course, today, and obviously like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're not currently a community member, consider joining. I'd love to help you out there, of course. I do have a trading academy, and obviously I send out signals for every single trade that I take, and we'll be more than happy to get you on the right track. I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll look forward to seeing you soon. You take care.